Let's queer up South Florida and Florida. The My Hollywood Pride has amazing day to be the 2024 first Pride in the world. On January 28th, just this past Sunday, the third annual My Hollywood Pride Street Festival took place, celebrating the South Florida LGBTQ+ community in downtown Hollywood. It marked the first Pride event of 2024 globally, with the theme Pride Starts Here. The event was presented by the Quadraci-Cabrera family, longtime supporters and local philanthropists, partnering with the National LGBTQ Task Force, a leading LGBTQ advocacy organization started in 1973. The collaboration continued the tradition established by My Hollywood Pride. The weekend featured advocacy events, starting with a Circle of Pride business networking event on Hollywood Beach on Friday night, and then the Pride 100 Brunch on Saturday morning celebrated Hollywood's 100 score on the Human Rights Campaign HRC Municipal Equality Index, and honored 2024 Trailblazer Franchesca D'Amore, a Progress Pride flag raising ceremony followed, led by My Hollywood Pride 2024 Chair, the wonderful Todd Delmay. The weekend also included the first queer comedy night on Saturday, and the Main Street Festival hosted by Emmy award-winning news anchor Craig Stevens on Sunday. Craig was joined by the anchor for Queer News Tonight and the host of the FayWhat Show, our favorite girl, Friday, FayWhat. Yes. The festival was held on the iconic Hollywood Boulevard, and main stage performances included globally renowned singer and songwriter Janice Robinson, Miss Bouvet, Matthew Darren, and more. Despite challenges in the current environment, the event aimed to stand out as a model for an inclusive family pride event. Attendees enjoyed shopping, local art and apparel, savoring food from local restaurants, and being entertained throughout the day. Even Drag Queen Story Hour was hosted by trans activist Misty Eyes. Everyone at Queer News Tonight congratulates the entire Hollywood community for an amazing weekend. It just goes to show that no matter what laws they pass, no matter what they say, progress will be made, and we're not going back into any closets, and we're not going to be sidelined by the people who are losing the battle. They're losing the battle and they're losing the war. And they can keep passing and they can keep screaming and they can keep talking, but they will lose. And this weekend proved just that you can take over an entire downtown area and do it big time and have people like this joining the crowd and saying, no, we're on the right side of history.
I wonder what all those people thought about sharing the stage with a superstar like FayWhat.
Yeah, right.
They were jealous.
They were. They must have been.
It is such a family oriented event, and I've been to 3 years. Every year as we have, and I saw a few people there that I know from Miami and South Beach area, and it was their first time going, and they were really blown away about how charming it was, as well as how, in a grand way, but it maintained its simplicity and its charm by being downtown Hollywood and feeling very, very family oriented. And I think it's really important for us to show the world, especially the non-believers and the haters in this moment in time.
But they make it look like a small town where everybody is family, and that's what's so amazing about
that,
it.
right? And we're a part of many prides, right? And pride is so important, especially this year, right? It's so important, especially in an election year. And we've lost a couple of prides here in South Florida, right? We can't. That's why these prides are so important, right? And this one being the first pride of the year, even more so. And just like Dale said, there was a couple thousand people there, but you can walk freely. There were kids and pets, and you were able to see a movie at the Paradiso place at the theater. But then, my favorite part, aside from being on stage with all our wonderful entertainers and talent, thank you, Franchesca, for putting that together and making me a part of it, was Misty Eyes and her story time. I was able to go and run over there and see the kids programming, and she had a section for kids. She had a section for teens, and she would just sit there and they would just talk to her. But you could just see how they just adored her beauty, right? Like these kids are like, 8, 9, 10 years old, and their eyes are just this big, looking at how gorgeous Misty eyes looked yesterday, There's no malice in that.
No.
We are not bad people. We're not groomers. I hate kids personally, but we're an inclusive community. We have children. We have pets. We're
as long as they're in their place over there.
You know what I mean? Like we just, there was a big football game going on. I'm a lesbian, but not that type of lesbian, so I didn't know, right? My wife's there looking at all these red uniforms run across, and I'm like, what is going on? Why does she look? Why does she keep on looking over
right next
at
to
Twin Peaks,
right?
Well, Twin Peaks is one of those chains of places that has the girls like in little outfits, like Hooters. So I'm like hitting my wife, like, what are you doing looking at the girls over there? And she was looking at the TV screens because there was a big game going on. There were all these straight people there also with us. Having a good time.
I kept being drawn to that area because that's where the police were hanging out, and they were really hot.
They were.
For sure.
But it's important to recognize that you have to be taught to hate. And hate is not a natural phenomenon.
No.
Yeah.
And my Hollywood Pride is the first in the year to prove that if you don't teach people to hate, we're all one big human community.
It's all about love.
And it was a big bold of them to begin with, to start a Pride in January. Remember the first year we thought, well, that's a big bold move.
Yes.
Like, that's really weird. And then it's like, okay.
Now it makes sense. Yeah.
Great way to start.
And and to see people from Wilton, you Wilton boys, some of you don't need to drive, right? Because I have to come to you to see you most of the time, right? So to see the Wilton boys come up and then see the South Beach boys come up, I was like, yes, yes, Hollywood could be like our middle area where the gangs actually go and have sex with each other.
No.
Okay.